The valuations on some of these items on the Antique Roadshow were shocking to the owners, and we aren't only talking about the good kind of shock. Some people's hearts did get shattered, especially with one of the items in this video, which is valued at £1 million.
Holy moly!
The intricate design on this set of exquisite tableware would attract any buyer to make a purchase. A man brought in 3 pieces of tableware to the show. The pieces included 2 cups and 1 plate. Both cups were painted by Harry Davis, who is known for painting incredible tableware. The plate, on the other hand, was made in 1932 and hand-painted by George Evans, who was Harry Davis's student. Harry must be a very proud teacher. The plate equally had enamel work at the edge, designed by Tommy Morton.
Is this fantastic enamel work around the outside, and this is done by Tommy Morton, the gilder. That enamel work around there would have probably taken 10 times the time to do the painting.
Tableware with Harry's signature is said to guarantee high prices. But wait, only one of this man's cups is signed. What will happen to the other?
Because it's not signed, well, I can't see a signature. I think perhaps it is there, but hidden away. I'm going to put a sort of a cautious 3,000 on it. But this one, I think, which is signed Harry Davis, and it's very, very lovely. I suppose was looking at perhaps 3,000 to 4,000.
Yeah, okay.
This one is just impossible to put value on because it's desperately unusual. I've never seen anything else since that approaches it in the extreme quality of craftsmanship. Perhaps insure for something like 5,000 or 6,000.
Thinking it.
Can you imagine how much it would have been valued if it had the signature?
Well, as far as I know, it's always been in the family, certainly for 100 years. And I'm told that this sort of thing was fashionable in the 1860s, and there were a number of family christenings around that time, and it could have been a present given to one of my ancestors then.
They said this must have been designed by one of the most influential contributors to the child's nursery motif, Walter Crane, but the amateurish painting on the cupboard says otherwise. The Victorian cupboard, which had been in a family since the 1880s, was brought to the show by one of the descendants. The cupboard was made during the Victorian period and was a nursery cabinet designed for children's use. It was widely used and in vogue in the 1860s. A lot of artists made painted furniture at the time. The man who brought it said it might have been given to a family member as a gift. The appraiser felt the painting had an amateurish look and was most likely done by an amateur artist.
There's a man called Henry Stacey Marks, who was a tile painter and decorator, independent artist, who worked a lot with Mintons. And he produced a set of tiles and designs called the 7 Ages of Man, which were in exactly the same sort of costumes and settings as these. There's a slightly curious sort of primitive nature to it, which makes me think it's actually by somebody who was, in a sense, a trained amateur.
The fact that they were able to pin the cupboard's design to a well-known artist meant the cupboard didn't value at an extremely high price.
With no name, I think 2,000 to 3,000 is about absolutely right. Yes.
The sentimental value of this cupboard is definitely worth more than the money value. It's quite hard to keep an item in the family for a whole 100 years. The great-grandson of a well-known realist painter and illustrator, Ralph Hedley, brought one of his paintings to the show. One would think that the painting was inherited, but it wasn't.
I didn't inherit it, I bought it for about £50 in 1971.
Hedley was a local artist with a good reputation. Some of Ralph Hedley's work, including Hat in a Cottage Window and Last in the Market, are known worldwide and reproduced as prints. In 2004, his work, The Turnham, sold for £44,000, pretty impressive for a local painter. The painting that was brought to the show was a depiction of the brick-making process. Hedley's great-grandson also brought along another painting that had tried to replicate Hedley's painting. And after comparing the details of the two, the appraiser affirmed that it wasn't as good as the original. Depending on how much he spent on the painting, he made a good profit, right?
What did you say it cost you? I can't remember.
£50.
£50, 1971.
1971, yeah.
Not bad. I think a fair value is £35,000 to £40,000.
That would.
I'm sure you know that that is the crown monogram of Wilhelm II.
Yes, I have heard the history of the watch. Yes.
Grandson of Queen Victoria.
Yes.
You would think this pocket gold watch, owned by the grandson of Queen Victoria, would be worth millions of pounds. But will it be? The watch that belonged to Kaiser William II, the grandson of Queen Victoria, was brought by a guest on the show. The watch, along with a silver medal and citation, was presented to the man's grand-uncle, William Phillips, for the rescuing of some German sailors on the high seas on the 13th of March, 1906. The watch was in very good condition and hardly used. This watch reeked of first-class luxury.
I suppose if it came up at auction now and a collector bought it, you'd probably get in the region of £1,500 with the citation as well. It's not a lot, but without that, the watch would be significantly less money.
Yes.
Well, it's not only the cost that counts. Having a watch that was owned by a royal family member is indeed fascinating. The smaller steel version of the popular sculpture Angel of the North, located in England, appeared on an episode of the Antiques Roadshow. It was a smaller bronze maquette which Anthony Gormley used to persuade council members to commission the making of the 20-metre Angel of the North. Anthony Gormley is a British sculptor. He uses his own body in many of his works as a basis for metal castings. He has created other notable sculptures like Another Place, Horizon Field and Iron Man. Not long ago, a similar work of art was sold for £2 million. Would this work of art also be that expensive?
So I think on the basis that this is half the size, I would comfortably value it at £1 million.
Amazing.
Subscribe to this channel and watch out for more entertaining videos about the peculiar items on the Antiques Roadshow.